Good morning. This is Kim with www.embody-light.com, and I will link my website in the description below. And I do psychic readings, hypnotherapy, Akashic records work, twin flame work, past life regressions. Basically, everything I do is energy repatterning. It's designed to help you discover how you're creating the reality that you're currently having and how to, if it's something you are not liking, how to rearrange that or do things differently. So, the subject of this video today is the Akashic Records. I'm answering a viewer, well, it wasn't a question. I just asked for some subjects people would like to have covered, and Akashic Records came up. So, that's what I'm going to talk about today, and I've got my notes. So, the first thing I'll tell you is there's an actual Akashic Records. There's like a hall or a building on the other side that contains the Akashic Records. It's got a record of every lifetime you've ever lived, even the lifetimes you had before you started incarnating on Earth. So if you went into this Akashic Records building, you would be able to find a scroll that's written in Aramaic that has all of your information about all your past lifetimes, everything you could imagine. And when you go in there and you view that, you get much more detail about the situation than you actually remember happening when you were, when you were living that actual life, because you'll experience what everybody else experienced around you, what everybody else thought. And then they also have another part to it where it's like, I'm going to call it a holographic room, although I don't think that's what it actually is. It's like you're surrounded by screens that project any image of anything that happened in history. Also over there is every piece of artwork or music or anything that was created here was created there first, because things are created in thought first. So my question to the guides was, so would these things on the other side be like a copy? And what the answer was is that no, what we've created here on this planet is actually the copy. The original is on the other side. And if you looked at a piece of artwork, it would be much more detailed. The colors, because they have colors that we can't perceive here, would be more vibrant, more beautiful. And they also look, because I have seen them from time to time, fluid, like they're moving and in motion. Now, when somebody passes away and they review their Akashic records, one of the questions I had was, do they right away go there? Can you right away start viewing your lives? And the answer is both yes and no. Yes, you can, but it's also strongly discouraged until you're ready and you've healed. Because say you died in some tragic way, you may need healing to help you to deal with that situation. And when you cross over, they actually, this is where I know my mother spent some time after she died. They have a hospital of sorts that it's not medical like we think of it here, but it's to help people with their energy bodies and everything that's happened to them in that lifetime. So it would be discouraged until you actually have healed the issue. So there's a book that you can get if you want to get more details about what it actually looks like on the other side. And this Akashic Records building, it's Sylvia Brown, and it's called The Book of Temples on the Other Side. She talks about all of these, because there are different temples. She talks about all these things and doing hypnotherapy and meditations with people. I have had them, well, sometimes I've guided them there, and sometimes they've ended up there obtaining information. So I can tell you, based on my experience, everything Sylvia said in her book is very accurate. So that's the Akashic Records on the other side. It's kind of details are being added from what I understand as they happen. But now there's another Akashic record, our planetary Akashic record. Our planet in the crystalline structure actually holds a record and a memory of every event that's ever happened on Earth. And so one of the things that happens with that is because on Earth we're 3D, we don't understand things in their entirety. The records that you might pick up from the Earth because they're going to have the difference between the Akashic records on the other side is they don't have the emotional charge associated with it. You could view an episode or something, an incident, not an episode, without being emotionally triggered, even if it was something that happened to you in another lifetime. Where here, when you get here, because the consciousness is much lower, you're going to have probably some issues with that. So when part of the thing that happens when people are born on the planet, they automatically will align and read into without knowing their Akashic records. And then as they start doing their spiritual work, they start remembering past lives and things. And so one of the things about the Akashic record on Earth is, this is more of an energy imprint, but we've all heard of maybe somebody driving by a battlefield. Especially we used to hear about these in the South, where they'll drive by and they'll see ghost soldiers still carrying out the battle. Well, that can be an energy imprint because it's in the Akashic records, or it could be ghosts that have not crossed over. But quite often those kinds of things are actually memory imprints. So we come here, and part of the things that happen to us when we're actually connecting with our Akashic records of the planet are those deja vu moments where I know I've been here. I know I was here before, or this is so familiar to me. Or you may like a certain style of clothing under a certain era or a certain type of food. Those are all pretty good indications that you're connecting with your Akashic records and remembering past lives. So then we have our own individual DNA structure, which also holds the memory of everything that's happened to us and all of our ancestral memories. So I asked my guides, with all of this, we're born onto this planet that's holding these memories, and sometimes it's a vibrational match that we go to our parents, the other videos I've talked about. Sometimes it's a vibrational match. Sometimes it was pre-chosen before birth and it's contracted. It's all got a lot to do with those memories that are in the Akashic record and in our own DNA. So my question was, so are we just doomed to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again? And yes, some people are, because they don't necessarily learn from the events that have happened. And so I asked them, well, how can we alter that? And the answer was so loud and clear: forgiveness. It doesn't matter if it's this lifetime or a past lifetime. If you are holding a grudge or feeling resentful or feeling hatred towards somebody for some wrong they did, of course, that other person it's not giving them a free pass. That's not what's happening. That other person you may feel like does not deserve to be forgiven. But the thing is, when we don't forgive, we keep it locked in our memories and locked in our DNA, and we will keep repeating it in one way or another until it's resolved. So the best thing we can do is just to forgive, because these Akashic records and our genetics, we're going to pass that down to our children. And so say you were born into an abusive situation, whatever, if you don't do your healing work and your forgiveness work, that energy you're going to still pass down to your children, and they may experience it in one way or another. So when you forgive and do the healing work around it, that completely clears the negative memories in the Akashic record and your need to keep repeating it. So there's other memories that are in our Akashic records too that I want to speak of also. Talk about because some of the things that happened to us here were deliberately inflicted into our society. They are not a normal part of what would be a part of our genetic makeup. One of those things I want to talk about is like alcohol addiction, drug addiction. In World War II, they did experiments and a lot of genetic experience. And what they actually learned that if you can inflict something, a situation into a family for 3 generations, it actually becomes a part of their genetic makeup. That's why they say like alcoholism is hereditary. Well, it's not a natural hereditary thing. It's a behavior that eventually became a part of their DNA. So, that being said, that's basically what the Akashic records are about. And when you heal, because whatever traumas you're having in this lifetime that you haven't healed, you've had it in other past lifetimes. It may have looked different, but it was similar. And so you came back, whether you were a soul that contracted to come back or whether you were an opportunistic soul, you came back into the situation that you needed to clear these things. And your job is to forgive them, clear them. Then these issues, even if you already have children, will start to disappear from their genetic makeup. Now, for some people I work with, and I tell them this, they don't have children and maybe aren't planning on having children. Well, they may have another lifetime where they will have children. And it doesn't matter if you correct it and do your forgiveness work and your spiritual homework, it's done, it's over. But if you do not, you keep playing it out. That being said, I know we are ascending to a 5D planet. Nobody knows when that's going to happen. Could be a year, could be 100 years. We just don't know. So that it's so important to keep doing that, because after this lifetime ends, if you haven't ascended into, 5th density or at least higher 4th density, you most likely are going to incarnate on a different 3D planet to keep playing it out. So that being said, that's part of what I do. I help people when they book a session with their Akashic records to clear up those negative patterns and things that they do not want to continue. And again, my website is www.embody-light.com. Please check it out if you'd like a session. And if you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button and please like. Share this video, and in the comment section, if you have any further questions on this, let me know. I'll answer it in an upcoming video or any other subjects you'd like covered. Have a blessed day. I love you all. Bye-bye.